Traversing treacherous mountain slopes, weaving through dense thickets of grass, these resolute marksmen are unstoppable in their determination. The battle begins to protect crops, land, and livestock from the claws of wild beasts. The thrilling moments below will keep you glued to the screen. Which scene left you stunned? Stick around until the end to pick the hunt that impressed you the most. A perfect ambush kicked off today's battle. Kevin's team arrived early, swiftly moving into their pre-assigned positions. Soon after, on the mountainside, rustling sounds from the bushes ahead put Kevin on high alert. The moment he faced the beast, a decisive gunshot rang out, cutting off the lead boar's escape route. The rest of the herd turned and fled into the thickets, vanishing in an instant. The battle had officially begun. At the base of the mountain, a seamless coordination between Kevin and his team unfolded. From a distance, a familiar silhouette emerged, frantically charging through the dense bushes, but it made a fatal mistake by veering straight toward Kevin. Instantly, a barrage of gunfire erupted, halting every attempt to escape. The beast collapsed on the ground, unable to take another step. Another threat was eradicated from this land. At another position, through binoculars, a marksman spotted a wild boar darting toward cover on the opposite mountainside. The moment its body came into view, gunshots rang out in succession, instantly halting its escape. A precise shot neutralized yet another threat before it could vanish. Leaving the fierce battle on the mountainside, we turn to a tense pursuit unfolding in Spain. While scanning every movement around, a wild boar suddenly appeared but couldn't escape the hunter's crosshairs. In an instant, a barrage of bullets was unleashed, completely thwarting the beast's attempt to flee. A decisive strike, timely saving the fields below. Amid the reeds, the barking of hunting dogs signaled the presence of a wild boar. Jamie swiftly closed in, only for a massive boar to suddenly charge into view. He stayed calm, took careful aim, and pulled the trigger. A decisive shot halted the beast's attempt to attack just in time. A heart-pounding moment. You can't help but admire the composure of these professional hunters. At this moment, in another location, the beasts lurking in the tall grass fell into the sights of the marksmen. Without hesitation, they swiftly took position, and a barrage of gunfire erupted. One by one, the boars were taken down, leaving no chance for escape. A decisive strike completely neutralized the threat they posed to the land.
Hadi bakayım. Çok güzel.
Là, le premier, tu vois?
Ouais.
Le dernier là-bas.
A hunting trip is an adventure brimming with emotions that are hard to describe. For some, it's the pure exhilaration mixed with intense concentration, that overwhelming burst of triumph when the game drops right in front of their sights. But for us, every hunt goes beyond those feelings. It's a journey to safeguard our villagers' harvests for what feels like ages. All our efforts tending the fields have been laid to waste by these wild boars. Enough is enough that we're heading out to hunt. Our first stop today, a hill to the west. My dogs were hot on the heels of an aggressive wild boar. My rifle was ready, but the boar was moving so fast I couldn't get a clean shot. One wrong move, and I could hit one of my own hounds. Bang, a perfectly aimed shot, and the boar tumbled forward. My pack quickly surrounded it. First target down. This hunt is already shaping up to be epic. Devil, and I pushed through the wild undergrowth, the kind of place wild boars always hide. Just as we expected, we soon heard the rustle of leaves in the distance, the telltale sign of a stampede approaching. My heart pounded as I tracked their movement. They seemed as oblivious now as they were when they destroyed our crops. The first boar came into view, and I squeezed the trigger without hesitation. At the sound of the shot, the rest of the herd panicked, scattering in every direction. Devil unleashed a flurry of shots at the fleeing boars, who desperately dove into the thickets, trying to escape their impending doom. We suddenly came face to face with a boar. It emerged slowly from behind a rock formation. Look at it, its eyes full of defiance, completely unafraid. I drew my rifle, bringing it into my sights. Before I could even fully register the moment, it charged, a blatant challenge. By the time it understood the danger, it was too late. I squeezed the trigger. The shot rang out, sharp and precise, then vanished into the stillness of the air. The boar lay there, a perfectly executed takedown. We moved to the grasslands, where boars are just as plentiful. Our dogs immediately started barking. From the dry, yellow reeds, a wild boar exploded, chased by our pack. I stepped back, steadying my aim. A forceful bang cracked the air. The boar lay motionless on the grass, unmoving as the dogs swarmed it. Devil pressed himself against a thicket, and I instinctively pulled back, too. A boar was approaching, oblivious to the danger lurking ahead. Devil fired a perfectly placed shot. The boar writhed on the ground, screaming in agony. It thrashed, and for a moment we thought the first shot would be enough, but the boar bolted, fueled by its last surge of strength. Devil wasn't about to let it escape that easily. A second, powerful shot rang out, and this time the boar went still, silenced on the earth. The sun had set, and observing became quite difficult, but for us, this was no real concern. Just beyond the fence line, I spotted a boar. I raised my rifle, locking the target in my sights. It was precisely at that moment the boar sensed the danger, but it was already too late. A powerful shot rang out, and the animal thrashed, collapsing to the ground, its delicious meal left unfinished.
Le dernier là-bas, tout seul.
Hidden behind a tree, I watched a boar charge right into my sights. Another heart-pounding encounter. In situations like this, you can't rush. Bang! This time there's no miss. The bullet ripped into the boar's body. It collapsed, thrashing in desperate pain, then went completely still. Today's hunt was a success. Every hunt is a story, a memorable experience of patience, skill, and raw survival instinct. As I said from the start, for us, this isn't a hobby or a sport. We are, at heart, good-natured farmers, but with the responsibility to protect our crops and ensure peace for our homeland, we are compelled to hunt. This action is protected by law and covered by insurance policies. Wild boars, creatures that may seem harmless at first glance, have become a terrifying nightmare for countless rural farmers. They destroy rice fields, rip through orchards, and even attack livestock, causing more and more serious damage with each passing day. In response, hunting missions are being organized not out of thrill, but as a responsible action to help control boar populations and protect peaceful livelihoods. And today, we set out once again on one of those critical missions. What dangers await us in the wild this time? Join us on this intense, edge-of-your-seat hunt right now. This time, we chose a vast hillside in the U.S. to track down wild boars at the break of dawn. The terrain is rough, densely wooded, and every shadow could be hiding a beast. All gear had been thoroughly checked, guns loaded, hound sniffing, and eyes sharp. Just past a small slope, a rustle broke the morning stillness from down the hill. We froze. A massive boar emerged slowly from the brush. Its size alone could make your heart skip a beat. Wasting no time, I raised my rifle and held my breath steady. Bang! The shot shattered the silence. The boar let out a thunderous growl and collapsed. A perfect opening to what promised to be an epic hunt. That first gunshot echoed through the woods like a warning. Suddenly, from the opposite forest line, a herd of panicked boars burst out, crashing through trees, scrambling uphill to flee. I spun around, locked onto one of them, and fired. Direct hit. It staggered midway up the slope before collapsing. The rest kept running, leaving behind broken branches and chaos. No hesitation, I followed the trail left by the herd. There they were. I lifted my rifle, steadied my breath, and aimed with care. One precise shot, one more target down. The boar struggled for a moment, then lay still. Another trophy claimed, but the hunt wasn't over yet. Meanwhile, at the forest's edge, my teammate was combing through dense undergrowth. Out of nowhere, a giant black shape exploded from the bushes, charging forward at an insane speed. Instinct kicked in. Jack raised his rifle and fired. Boom! The beast was hit, tumbling over and rolling several times before crashing down. The hill hunt had come to a breathless, adrenaline-filled close. With the hillside sweep completed, we shifted toward the open plains. The ATV rumbled across the cracked, dry earth. The hounds were unleashed, barking wildly. The chase was on again. Our weapons, trackers, binoculars, everything double-checked. After driving a few hundred meters, a massive boar suddenly appeared, charging straight toward me. I didn't flinch. I raised my rifle, braced myself, and aimed. Boom! The sound echoed across the silent plain. The creature was hit, staggered a few steps, then dropped. Dust exploded into the air. We pressed deeper into the field, carefully stepping through low shrubs. Suddenly, a bush shook violently ahead. I dropped low and tightened my grip on the trigger. A boar burst out, sprinting for its life. Right at that moment, I fired. The shot landed square on its flank. It was over. Not far off, from the opposite side of the field, I spotted my teammate taking aim. His eyes locked on another monstrous boar. He didn't hesitate. The shot rang out with power. The beast howled and dropped, thrashing for just a few seconds before going still.
Seguiremos con finca cada gestión, que es el único camino que hay. Y algo...
This hunting expedition was more than just a face-off with danger. It was a showcase of teamwork, courage, and razor-sharp skills. Every move was carried out in strict accordance with local wildlife laws and regulations. Wild boars, the silent but deadly destroyers of farmlands. When night falls, they sneak into gardens and fields, trampling crops, tearing through barns, and leaving farmers in despair. And when the destruction crosses the line of tolerance, a new mission is triggered. Hunt them down to protect the farms. This is no longer just a hunt, it's a battle between man and the wild. Will the beasts surrender this time? Or will they once again become the nightmare that haunts local farmers? Join us in today's relentless pursuit. At first light, we begin our slow advance into the deep forest, a known trail often used by the notorious boar herd. Our weapons are locked and loaded, GPS in hand. Hunting dogs alert. Every step is measured. Every sound is a potential threat in the heavy silence. Suddenly, a dark silhouette emerges from a thicket. It seems unaware of the danger lurking behind. I pivot instinctively, raise my rifle, steady my grip, and pull the trigger. A sharp crack pierces the forest. The shot lands. The boar stumbles a few steps and collapses under the damp canopy. Tension falls over the woods like a curtain. We move deeper into the jungle, where sunlight barely filters through the leaves. Out of nowhere, a massive beast explodes from the brush, its hulking body slicing through the trees like a bolt of fury. No hesitation. I aim fast through the canopy and fire. The shot lands. The beast crashes to the ground, sliding across fallen leaves before coming to a halt. Just when we thought the fight was over, barely 10 minutes later, two muscular boars burst from the brush, charging straight toward me. I stay calm, raise my rifle, steady my breathing. One shot, then another. Both bullets find their mark. The wild pigs collapse into the forest floor, powerless to resist. Suddenly, I receive a call from the team. Fresh boar activity has been spotted out in the open field ahead. No time to waste. I break away from the canopy, sprint toward the clearing. Everything's ready. The chase is back on. From a distance, a dark figure sprints right into my line of sight. A fully grown wild boar, massive and aggressive. Without a second thought, I lift the rifle, hold my stance, and fire. The sharp crack of the shot echoes across the empty field. The boar jerks and drops, lifeless on the damp earth. The gunshot sends a shockwave through the field. From the distant thickets, an entire herd bursts out, running in every direction, panicked and desperate to escape. I adjust quickly, locked onto a fast runner ahead. Fire. Another clean shot. The target falls. The rest scatter wildly across the plains. I immediately give chase in the direction the herd fled. Just 2 minutes later, a massive boar cuts across my flank, charging blindly for an escape. I spin, raise the rifle, and fire. The boar crashes into green grass, thrashing briefly before going still. At that very moment, on the opposite side of the field, my teammate is already in position. He spots a gigantic boar barreling through the tall grass. He locks in and fires. The bullet hits clean. The beast stumbles, then collapses on the spot. One precise shot, a clean finish. This hunting mission ends with moments of heart-pounding tension and thrilling confrontations. From tangled forest trails to wide-open fields, every shot fired was more than just skill, it was a responsibility, a duty to protect the land from destructive invaders. All operations in this hunt followed strict legal regulations for managing invasive species and ensuring safety for both people and the environment.